What's up, everyone? Thanks for being with me today. It's your boy, Zack Miller. Thanks for being with me today. Super stoked to continue to do this show. It's episode 34. See, I have to write it down on a cue card. See, look. Bloop. You can kind of see it. Not really. But, because sometimes I forget what episode it is. It's episode 34 of Zack Miller Live, the greatest sometimes solo show in the world, where I go and talk about the things that are on my mind. And today, it's actually the things that are on your mind, the questions that you guys have for me. Yesterday, I said that I was going to do an AMA, which for you non-internet users means Ask Me Anything. And that means we're going to do an AMA today. So, got a couple questions that were set up beforehand. And if you guys have questions of your own, this is an AMA edition of Zack Miller Live. All you have to do is simply this. Ask your questions, and I will come in and answer them. If I get the question afterwards, because I'm not live at that point, because it's like 7 o'clock in the meeting dinner, all you have to do is ask in the comments, and I'll respond there. So, I'm excited to do this. There are a couple people who did actually ask questions beforehand, so I'm going to make sure that they get this, because I'm going to add them, because that's what good people do. They're nice to their friends. So if you guys have questions, all you have to do is simply ask them in the comments. Cool. So I've invited the few people who did ask questions. Appreciate those so far. And now it's time to get rolling. Again, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. And I will answer your questions as we go through. All right. We'll do this first one first because you're here, Rebecca, and it's super easy. Who do you use? Rebecca says, who do you use for your email campaigns? MailChimp? Question mark. So when I was doing email campaigns by myself and I didn't have a team around me, MailChimp was what we were using. However, we at the time and still have a lot of if this then that's. So we wanted to make sure that the tool could do that, and unfortunately, at least at the time, MailChimp could not do that. So we moved away from MailChimp. We tried a couple of other things, but ultimately used a thing called ActiveCampaign. It's one part kind of email mass, and then one part CRM. We don't really use the CRM probably the way that we should, but that's what we use, activecampaign.com. Seems to get the job done, so that's cool. But MailChimp, for the majority of people, MailChimp is going to do fine. And honestly, you can get MailChimp for free, I think. So, try it out. I think they just got like their 70 millionth user or something ridiculously crazy. Some number that's just like absolutely insane. But MailChimp out of Atlanta, big company, cool stuff. They have great shirts too. I always loved their shirts. I think I've worn one on the show before. It's got like a little monkey. But anyway. All right, so here we are, Zack Miller Live, episode 34. I don't know who wears number 34 in sports. Not a favorite number of mine. Maybe on the roulette table. Nope. But Heather Herrick of Domestic Divas, interviewed her yesterday for my TV show Connect. Super awesome person. She says, what is your favorite part of what you do? Well, honestly, I probably deal with a lot of politics just to make sure that I can do, and not the normal politics that you guys are thinking of, but like office and corporate politics to deal this. But I do it for the people, right? I love meeting new people. I love helping certain people. And I love doing shows like this. I love being transparent and showing my wins and my losses with you guys so that you guys can see kind of exactly behind the scenes what I'm doing, what I've done, how I've won, how I've lost, but ultimately meeting with different people, having a lot of friends, having a lot of relationships that are meaningful, powerful, and can be so powerful. And I think I've told this story before, but I go to this restaurant called Dirty Buffalo, chicken wings, the greatest chicken wings I've ever had. And I end up always having the same waitress, and she goes, "You have a lot of friends," and it's always like different people. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool. I guess I do." And so it's like because I have these vehicles like this Facebook Live show, my podcast, or even the TV show Connect, or just because of some of the stuff that I've taken risk on, I've created this vehicle for myself to be able to get in front of new people who ultimately I can help, they can help me, and I've created relationships and friendships with. And to me, that's like it. I almost didn't even know how to articulate this before, but it's so powerful and it's so freaking cheesy. People are like, yeah. He likes talking to the people. I'm sure that's what he does. No, but I mean, it really, like, when I think about like how unhappy I was in TV, like just being able to have these conversations with people and talk about life experiences and stuff like that, like it is powerful and it's something special. And like, I can be very bold and blunt about certain stuff, but ultimately I'm doing it because I want to help people. And so it's nice to be able to have been able to create to create a bunch of relationships with people, help a bunch of people, and it's been fun to do. And so I love helping people. I love meeting new people. I actually think, and people would never believe this, I actually think I have some sort of introvert tendencies. But knowing that, like, I love meeting new people. I have 3 talks next week, like all an hour away from me. I'm super excited about all of them because not only I'm probably going to meet all new people, which is cool, but then also I'll be able to like share my vision, share the things that I'm working on, and help people hopefully. And so at the end of the day, like, there's nothing better than like being at a meeting and someone being like, I go to a lot of these things and I never understand it, or I can't, I just, it's too over my head, or like the people who are teaching it just don't know what they're talking about. And I'm just like, I don't understand why that happens. Like, these people should be helping people. And for me to be able to help different people at different, financial levels, different demographics across the board, like, it's cool to be a part of it. And I'm glad I've been able to. And I hope that I can do that for a long time. So thank you. And I get to meet people like you and Heather Herrick. And able to meet someone like you. And so it's exciting stuff. Pam says, is the show Connect something that a small caterer would benefit from, and how does one gain an interview, aka hand raised? You've done that a couple of times now. Gotcha. Haha, just joking. Not. Yes, I am, really. I think Connect is Connect is formerly Hampton Roads Business Weekly. They changed it at the beginning of the year. I think there's a lot of things that you can do, Pam, not even just from getting on the show, but from leveraging the guests that have been on the show. It's something in the book that we call the fraternity of podcast guests, but it could be the fraternity of guest on TV show. And so I definitely think there's opportunities for you to be able to win from just the guest alone, and you creating relationships with those folks. Hey, Joel, what's up, man? And Pam also says, seriously, what was the moment you thought you had made it with what you loved doing? So I don't think I actually have necessarily made it. Like, my goals are really big, right? I want to be the majority owner of an amusement park, and I still have to pay my way to get into those amusement parks. So that being said, though, don't get me wrong sitting here saying that I don't think that I have accomplished a lot, because I'm not saying that in any kind of way. I have. And I'm very confident in that. And I'm very confident in the people that I've helped. Right? But knowing that ultimate goal of being a majority owner of an amusement park, that's going to take a long time to get to. Right? But I reflect a lot. I look back on the relationships that I have. I look back on the things that I've won and lost at. And I say, okay, like, these things are good. That does not always mean money, right? You have to live. which is important. But like, I don't know, like I recently swam a mile and I haven't swum a mile in a long time. That's an accomplishment, right? Or I get to help if you can help one person a day, like I think these people have like these big, like, oh, I need to help 10,000 people today. And like, I have a goal of helping millions of people. Absolutely. But you do that one by one by one by one, not by getting some huge like viral moment, right? I've never had a viral moment, right? I have a video that my Kickstarter video for Anomaly has like 50,000 total views, right? You know, a lot of people are like, that's amazing. And I'm like, it is amazing, but like, I want to help even more people than that. And that's just that's not even like a helpful video if you think about it. It's just like a promo of the book. And so I would rather have like one of these videos get 50,000 views. And maybe they do get 50,000 views, you know, in the coming years. And so you guys have been following along. I finally started writing in the Black Book. And so it's just like my live ideas, right? So those are my next 8 kind of ideas. And so I think I get them when I'm doing a bunch of different things. Swimming, working, consuming, whatever. But my point is that like I'm playing a really long game, right? I've been doing this for a decade. A lot of people would say like, oh, you're super successful. And yes, to a lot of people's minds, I am. But like, I have success in my local area. 100%. But I'm looking to have more of a national or global footprint. And so those are the things that I'm focused on. And so I'm still focused on helping my local area and building on the people that are around me. But I know that what I'm saying can help other people too. And so it's how can I get in front of those people? And so that's one of the reasons I wrote the book is like that person exists everywhere. And I want to create a vehicle to help them do that. And so, you know, when I think about making it, I actually look at it from the opposite standpoint too, knowing that I used to be super unhappy. And so I would say, okay, if I used to be unhappy, just make sure that like you're happy, that you don't feel like that every day. And so I've been using this tool called Productive, I think. And yes, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn are still off my phone. So it's this thing called Productive, and it basically says, did I do this thing or not today? And I could add a thing like, were you happy today? Yes or no? Do it at the very end of the day. That's something I've been thinking about doing for a couple of days now. Not a very long time, but no, I mean, I just know that I was super unhappy at one point, and I don't want to be back there. So do whatever I can to be happy. Tracy Link. So thank you guys for the question so far. If you guys are just now tuning in, it's an AMA edition of Zack Miller Live, episode 34. Ask me anything. All you have to do is ask in the comments. If I get off air, or you're listening to this at a later time, feel free to hit me up in the comments, and I will respond when I see them. Someone deleted their comment. That's so sad. All right, moving on. Tracy Link, owner of Integrity Security, says, what advice would you give a small business to reinvigorate the sales process after undergoing a substantial growth period that has leveled off and somewhat stagnated? I mean, honestly, like, that's life. It's never going to be like this. And if you're watching the opposite, then like that, right? Whatever. But, like, business is this. And so going into it knowing that, I think that will help you. And so maybe that's probably not the answer you want me to tell you, but like, you just have to keep pushing. You just have to keep pushing through. You have to continue, right? We just talked about how I've been doing this for a decade, right? I'm on the 7th week of this show. Like, most people will be like, oh, he's not getting millions of views yet. This is stupid. You should get off it. And I'm going, well, I'm not going to get that overnight. Right? And even when you do have some success, like, that doesn't mean that you should then just be like, screw it, like, I'm done. Like, no, like, I may never have a video that gets more than 25 or 50,000 views, right? That's my big one right now, right? I have one video that has 50,000 views. Like, and even then I'm not satisfied, right? But you just have to understand, Tracy, that while you might have hit stagnation, if that's a word, like, it's okay. It happens. Just keep pushing through. and make sure the people on your team that are running the sales piece and you stay positive, and just make sure that at the end of the day, you've done what you need to do to make those sales happen, right? If you want an action to happen, you have to create that action. And if you're sitting there going, why aren't I making these sales? Well, are you doing anything to make those sales happen? Like, are you picking up the phone? Are you sending proposals? Are you asking people to buy? Are you communicating with them? And not just one time, like following up over and over and over again, not to be like annoying, but just to make sure that like, hey, like, are you ready to buy this? Like, there's people that I know are perfect clients. People are perfect customers for me, right? And they just never bought anything. And I just, every once in a while, the frequency that I determine appropriate, I say, hey, like, are you ready? Well, let's do this, you know? Because most of the time I think we find the right people. It's just, it might not be the right time. So Tracy, what I would say is simply like, understand that there is a roller coaster that's going on, and always make sure that you do what's necessary to make that sale. And if you do that all the time, even when there's lulls, it'll be okay. At the end of the day, if you ask yourself, did I do everything that I needed to do today to succeed? And the answer is no. Well, then there's your problem. But if you go to bed every night saying, did you do everything that you needed to do to succeed? And the answer is yes. You're not going to win every day, right? That's okay. It sucks, right? I believe that really and I'll say this, other than getting married last year, like the last 6 months of 2017 were really freaking hard from a business perspective for me. But I knew that if I could get through it, push through it, I'd be okay. And then 22 days into January, I get offered a book deal. See, sometimes you just got to push through. Make those calls. If you're afraid of picking up the phone, write an email, ask for referrals, introductions, help people. You guys saw my post last night on Facebook. Like, if you're lost, help people, and it'll help you. It'll help you find your path. Like, help people. There's a commercial. It's like, helping people. That's funny. Chris Hill says, he's been on the show a couple times. Well, this show once, the podcast once, Hampton Roads Business Weekly once, and just an all-around good guy. He says, how could I apply being an anomaly if I didn't even want to have or start my business? So Anomaly is not just a business book. What I would say is that it offers business principles to help guide you and figure out what you love, what you're good at, and how you could potentially make a career around that. Whether you want to start a business, grow a business, or work for a business. And so one of the, I don't know what they're called, the categories that it's under is self-help, right? For that reason, right? If you're a college student that is looking to be seen, Anomaly can help you get there, right? You're looking, most people are looking for jobs, right? Not looking to start a business. So this book can help you figure out how to position yourself to get in front of the people that you want to and succeed. If you think about it, in a business, what do you want to do to succeed? Probably get in front of those people so that you can succeed. So you still have to position yourself there too. So by using business principles, even if it is just for a career change or moving up on the career ladder, this book can be for you too. Finally, or at least finally right now, Ben Wallace, 2-part question, says, what lesson do you think is most critical for anyone who wants to be successful? Also, what is the most disgusting thing you have ever smelled? Ooh. We'll answer the smelling one first. I don't know, probably a porta potty. Those things are freaking disgusting. That's the only thing I could really think of right now, was that a porta potty. It's probably the most disgusting thing I've ever smelled. I don't know. The other part, the question was, what lesson do you think is most critical for anyone who wants to be successful? And as you guys are listening, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. If you like what you're hearing, feel free to like, love, share, comment, whatever. subscribe, whatever it is those kids do on the internet. But what lesson do I think is most critical for anyone who wants to be successful? Again, successful in business and in life. What I would say is that it's a long run. Like, if you are looking for overnight success, you will literally lose in life. And I don't know that I was ever in the moment thinking about that, but I definitely understand it now. And I definitely understand that if I can just stay in my lane, and for me to say that, it's kind of ridiculous, but like, I know that, like, I have this gift to help people, this vehicle to help people. And as long as I stay in that lane, and I can go out and get other things and bring them into that lane, right? But if I decided that I wanted to become like some sort of other expert in something, that's where I mean getting out of the lane. Like, if I decided I wanted to start mining Bitcoin, that would probably be off lane. But if I could stay in that lane and build that up enough, guess what happens? Enough people see you. Like, if you're doing something that people like, woo, people are going to follow you. People are going to share you. People are going to like you. People are going to know that things went okay or bad, or like, it's just, if you think you're going to be an overnight success, you're just wrong, right? Like, look at the people who win like best new artist and it's like their 10th album in music. Right? Look at these people who are YouTube sensations that are like, have videos that are like 50 views, 100 views, and then they somehow one day, like, it just adds up, and then more people see them. It takes time over and over and over again. And so, like, I've been doing this stuff for a decade, right? I'm meeting new people every day. The majority of the people I'm getting in front of next week at these talks probably have no idea who I am. I love starting a talk like that. Raise your hand if you have any idea who I am. And when the room is like one or two people, I'm like, I got a lot of work to do. And so I think people don't think that. They're like, oh, I did this thing once, so everyone wants to see it, must have seen it. Well, all you have to do is look at simple analytics to realize that that's not the truth, right? And then also realize that most things don't happen on the first try, meaning you have to follow up. And if you don't, if you just get a no answer, if you get a no, if you get a whatever. I mean, shoot, my wife, it took me 3 months to how do I say this? To let me basically take her on a date or hang out for the first time, right? She kept saying no, but I was persistent, and I was persistent enough to find the lady of my dreams, and that's important, right? So if you quit on the first time, like be persistent in life. Don't be annoying. Don't be like that schmuck, but understand that, like, most things don't happen the first time you want it to happen. That's why I don't really like business plans, because you're basically making a guess, knowing that guess is probably not going to work. So I'd rather have like a execution plan of different things, and you try to do that and figure out which one's going to work. And, like, is this Facebook Live thing going to work out? I don't know. We're on our 34th episode, right? When I decided to do it, I was like, all right, like, we should probably put some attention to this. And now every weekday I'm doing it, right? Like, if I want to help millions of people, I have to realize that I'm going to have to do a lot of work to get in front of millions of people. My favorite commercial, we talked about this, Michael Phelps, the line in it is, it's what you do in the dark that gets you seen the light, or something like that. Like, I know that I'm having conversations with people at 9, 10, 11, 12 at night, and people are like, huh, he's still kind of working, isn't he? Now, I'm not saying work 24/7. I'm just saying, like, find out when your people are looking to be talked to and talk to them. So that's what I would say to Ben. Porta potty, and it's a long run, and the first tries never work. Heather, I answered your question beforehand. I don't know if you were there, so you can watch back. But basically, your question was, what is your favorite part of what you do? And basically, it's the people, right? Like, I deal with a lot of crap oftentimes just to make sure that I can help people, right? Like, I signed, I was a part of a deal at some point, And I didn't necessarily agree with the deal myself, but I thought I could help a couple people. So I was like, you know what? I will be a part of this. I will associate with this, even though I might disagree with it, because I know it's going to help some people. So sometimes that's what I meant by politicking, right? Like, that's what I hate about corporate world is it's such BS, but it's people. It's being able, I have this vehicle. I can get in front of people. I can help those people. I get to meet people like you, Heather. Like, that's what's important to me. That's what I love to do. And I want to do more of that because I genuinely care, number one. But number two is I can take my weirdness of being an anomaly and help people big time. Yeah, do you go to bed at night knowing all you did all you can to succeed? No, therein lies your own problem. Boom. I mean, there are times where like I sit back and I go, huh. Am I telling the truth? Am I telling the truth to myself and things like that? And then I go, hold on. Like there can be like this devil in your mind, right? It's like the other day when I said, people wish me happy birthday and I didn't necessarily say thanks. Like, there's 365-ish days in a year. If the majority of those, the overwhelming majority of those, you're going to bed saying, I busted my tail today. I know I got a lot done. I know that I did what I need to go to succeed. The majority of the time, you're in the right. You're in the bad if you go to bed going, I don't know that I didn't do that. And those are the type of things that you need to do. You need to be thinking about like, okay, and not being like so difficult on yourself, so hard on yourself, but just making sure that, hey, like I am doing a lot. Right? Or I'm doing the right things. I'm a big work smarter, not harder type of guy. You might have seen my post a few weeks ago where I said, here are all the things I've accomplished this year. That was not me trying to be a dick. It was me basically saying when you're efficient and you're going after a specific thing, you can get all this stuff done. I get at least 7 hours of sleep a night. I have great relationships with people. I'm able to do stuff like this, but I'm super efficient, right? Yesterday I shot a crap ton of videos all in one setting. Instead of like over a full day, I've now decided to move my podcast to twice a month from a recording perspective, just so that I can be super efficient. Yeah, I'm using a whole day to do that, or 2 whole days to do that, but I'm efficient, and it's not like here, and it just. And I think I was just having a conversation with Chris Lane. He's the guy who did my Kickstarter video, ChrisLaneVideo.com. I think it's .com. But he was like, do you think people can people just be told that, or do they have to figure it out? I go, well, if they're willing to execute on it, I think you absolutely can just do it. But oftentimes, and I told him this story too, I was like, I'm kind of a hypocrite in this where I say, raise your hand for everything, but also learn when to say no. And so my point on that is, like, when an opportunity comes up, and it seems like it actually could be an opportunity, definitely raise your hand. But when you got that life insurance person calling you saying, hey, let's meet up. I wanna see how we can help each other. They're basically just trying to sell you. So that's the kind of conversation I'm saying you probably say no to. But if like the TV show, the book, this show, like all these things are like things that I have no idea what to expect with it, but I should raise my hand, start doing it, and figure out what's going to work, right? As Ben says, what is something that you have to do to be successful? You have to continue to follow up, right? It took me at least a month and a half to get the TV show deal. And I was one of the first people to know about it. I just wasn't believed in at that point. I was a risk, and I had to talk my way. I had to be persistent. I like that word, persistent. Not that it's a crazy word, but I just don't use it very often. I had to be persistent to say, hey, not only am I not a risk, but I'm amazing, and I'm going to be huge for this show. And with 25,000 viewers a week, you bet your bottom dollar I was. How's it going, everyone? Thanks for singing in the rain, I guess, or just hanging around. Zack Miller Live, episode 34. Appreciate you guys being here. Heather, Tracy, Joel, Pam, and many others. It's always fun to do this each and every weekday because consistency is important, and when you expect to come here each and every day and get something amazing, guess what happens? You get this. You get help. I help you, and it's a Grand old time. It's like a family reunion just every day. All right. Any other questions? Let me know. I'll stick around for 35 more seconds. My favorite day of the week is tomorrow for these. Actually, every day is my favorite. But 5 Dice Friday, where I talk about the 5 burning topics on my mind. Remember last week we talked about Flip Deck, the Adderall documentary on Netflix. In the past, we've talked about Lance Armstrong and his comeback and how it seems like even though he was such in a bad position, he's starting to make a comeback, showing that maybe you can make a comeback, even if you do something stupid. 5 Dice Friday tomorrow. I have no idea what time it'll be because I have a busy day tomorrow, but I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. Right? I'm not going to tease you guys. I'm not going to share with you guys that, hey, expect this thing, and then never mind. But that's it. Appreciate y'all being with me today. Zack Miller Live, episode 34. If you guys love what you're watching, would love you guys to subscribe wherever you consume this so that you get notified every time we go live. Appreciate your time. Peace.